Welcome back, Metalheads. I've got a fantastic review for you for all you thrash fans out there. Now, Evil Dead have just released their new album on Steamhammer Records. It's called Toxic Grace. It's a fantastic album, Metalheads. Check it out. Now, it's LA band Evil Dead. Now, these guys have been around for many years. They broke up, but reformed in the last few years. Now, they're originally formed by Juan Garcia, as we all know, was the original guitarist in Agent Steel. Juan was also involved with Abattoir. So these guys were formed back in 1986 when Juan Garcia left Agent Steel. The band was also formed by bass player Mel Sanchez. In the early days of the band's career, they would be mixing the various styles of thrash metal with hardcore. Most of their influence were people like Dark Angel, Sacred Reich, Violence. Now, after a couple of demos, the band released an EP in 1988 on Steamhammer Records. This was called Rise Above. In 1989, the band would release their debut album, which is a fantastic album. If you've got it, folks, you'll know what to expect. It was called Annihilation of Civilization. Fantastic artwork with some really good songs. Like I said, very much reminded me of Sacred Reich's Ignorance album. And this album would feature vocalist Flores, Albert Gonzalez on guitars, would have Juan Garcia on guitars. Agent Steel, as I said, would have Mel Sanchez on bass and drummer Rob Alaniz. In 1991, the band released their second album. This was called The Underworld, a fantastic follow-up to the debut. This would have a couple of lineup changes, as I'm about to tell you. Now, this album would feature guitarist Dan Flores, would also have Karlos Medina on bass guitar, who's with the band now. Karlos was also involved with Agent Steel. And on drums, we'd have Doug Clawson. In 2020, the band reformed and released a new album. This was called United States of Anarchy. In 2024, the band have just released their new album, which is the follow-up. It's called Toxic Grace, which is a brilliant album, folks. If you've got the previous albums, you'll know what to expect. These guys are still playing fantastic thrash metal. So now I'm going to tell you who's in the lineup for this current album. We'd have Juan Garcia on guitars. We'd also have Phil Flores on vocals, followed by Rob Alaniz on drums, Albert Gonzalez on guitars, and on bass guitar, Karlos Medina. So that's the lineup. So there's 10 songs on this new album. So I'm going to tell you what the song titles are. So I'm going to tell you what the song titles are for this new album. The opening track would be called FAFO, followed by Reverie, Raising Fresh Hell, Stupid on Paradise, Subjugated Souls, Beneficent in Fire, Pathetic Omen, World of Rats, Fear Porn, and the last one we called The Death of Resurrection Show 2024, which is a bonus track, only available on vinyl and digiform. Now, I'm an old school thrash metalhead, and I really like the stuff that Evil Dead are doing. Like I said, if you are a fan of Sacred Reich's Ignorance, also bands like Laaz Rockit, Testament, this is a fantastic band you need to check out. Now, the artwork for this album was done by Dan Goldsworthy. Now, Dan's worked with bands such as Glory Hammer, Ailstorm, and a lot of other bands. He's a fantastic artist, as you can see. Now, I have to say the production on this album is very powerful. It makes the music really shine through. The production was handled by Dave Casey and Rob Hill. Both have done a fantastic job. Now, the opening song, FAFO, is a brilliant song. It's a must for people like Sacred Reich, Overkill, and Testament. It's got that really San Francisco vibe with a little bit of East Coast vibe to it. It also reminds me of a band called Gothic Slam. And the good thing about this band is they haven't changed the style since the beginning of the formation. They've kept true to the word and continue writing classic old school thrash. Now, this song also features fantastic vocals by Phil Flores. His vocals are very much slightly different to the last album, but the song in general that I've just mentioned is a great song. This song is a great opening song. It's very catchy with some great melody hooks. I also have to say, if you're a fan of Dark Angel, you're going to like this song. I wouldn't say it's got the speed of Dark Angel. However, it does have the trigginess of the guitars that Dark Angel would do when they slow down. Next up is Reverie. This is a more up-tempo song, a lot more heavier, a lot more faster, but it's still pretty much Evil Dead style music. This song kind of reminds me of a cross between Testament and Death Angel. It does, however, have some fast, furious parts, but it also has some slow, chuggy, thrash metal style vocals and music. Now, the next song is called Raising Fresh Hell. This kind of reminds me of Agent Steel, but it also reminds me of a band called Recipients of Death, or another band from Texas called Gamasad. Now, folks, all in all, this is a brilliant album. If you like the last album, United States Anarchy, you're going to love this album. Toxic Grace is a fantastic follow-up. Production's great, the songs are very catchy, and it's not all about speed. This is a really well thought out thrash album, folks. So for that reason, I'm going to give this album 4.5 out of 5. It's a brilliant comeback album for Evil Dead. Check it out, Metalheads. It's Toxic Grace, released on Steamhammer Records. Thanks for watching. More reviews coming soon.